That was an extra long wave, wasn't it? Hi. So, as I mentioned in my whole video from earlier on this morning, I've been up so long today, it feels like yesterday when I did that. I promised that I'd be doing more of an in-depth look at this book that came through the post. And this is The Undertaker. The Undertaker? The Undertaker by Ralph Mayer, Caroline Delaby, and Javier de Rizon. Do you like how I did those? I said them so professionally. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch camera around and do like a hands down so we can look at so you can look at it. Otherwise, you're just going to be looking at me trying to open pages, and it's going to be a mess. Okay. Okay, so here we go. So you can see it a bit more close up. So this is The Undertaker. It's volume 1. So this is, I think it's from France originally. It's published by Abrams, who did that Fantastic Four oversized book by Alex Ross. They did more like speciality graphic novel collections. So this is volume 1. It collects 2 of the European albums in one volume, so you get about 120 pages or so. It is $25.99 in America, in the Americas, I was going to say, $32.99 Canadian, and $18.99 UK. You can get it online cheaper. Obviously, try and not support the Bezos site if you can. I got mine from an independent bookseller on eBay, who I've used before. They package the stuff really well. So let's just have a look at the synopsis. Okay, so as it says here, being dead may have its advantages, but for you, I don't see any. Undertaker Jonas Crow is charged with hauling a gold tycoon's body back to the mine that made his fortune, a 50-mile trek through scorching desert. And this time there's a twist. On the night he died, the mining magnate swallowed every gold nugget in his safe, determined to take his treasure to the grave. Unfortunately, word is out, and the town's long-suffering miners will do whatever it takes to get it back. Jonas has secrets of his own, though, and he's not giving up the gold without a fight. So this is just a look at it, an overview. I've not actually read the book. I've looked through it. I've had a busy day, so I've been out with friends. So I have looked through the book, and the art is gorgeous. So that's what we're going to concentrate on today. We're going to concentrate on the packaging, if it's good value for money, and the overall presentation and the gorgeous, gorgeous art. Seriously, you'd be very impressed. So that's the back cover. That's the spine, as you can see, volume 1. And Abrams, that's the cover. I love that cover. Very, very, very atmospheric. I mean, it basically sums up the name of the character, the Undertaker. There he's staring into a grave with a vulture on his arm. So the frontispiece is the same as the end piece as well. The paper is very high quality. So it gives you a list of the creators. So it's written by Javier Dorison, illustrated by Ralph Mayer, who is French, even though it sounds like he's not with that name. Colours by Caroline Delabille and also Ralph Mayer. And it's based on an original idea by Ralph Mayer and Javier Dorison. And as I said, it's by Abrams Comics Art. Do Google their website. They do some amazing graphic novels. There's another Western one I want to get. And they did The Road as well, what I highlighted in another video. So let's just look at this art now. Enough preamble. So there you go, setting the scene, the classic Western trope, vulture coming down to eat the dead carcass. And there's our main character. Paper is very thick. I thought it was 2 pages. So it's glossy without being too shiny. It's kind of like a dull gloss, so it doesn't make it hard to see the artwork and the colours. Beautiful. This does remind me very much of Blueberry in the art style by Mobius, or Jean Girard as he's known on that one. So you've got the stagecoach coming along there. And of course, there's your classic Western town. And is she going to be a potential love interest, or is she going to be a client? And again, the panel layouts make a full use of the page, nothing spared, even in the smaller panels. There's so much detail, which unfortunately in American comics that can be missed out on. There is a resurgence now with people like a lot of the artists on the absolute titles, especially Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, where they are making use of the panels and not just doing like figure work. They're thinking about the composition in the background as well and what's going on in the background. But here again, that wonderful lighting of the dark time with the interior light of the the wax the oil burner illuminating what's going on in there. So that's his job. He's the Undertaker, so he's now getting the body ready for burial. And this, what was the preamble white mentioned on the back about this guy eating gold nuggets. So if he's going to die, nobody's going to have all his gold. The ultimate in greed. So again, I love that use of just the eyes to convey the emotion and the setting of the scene. Nice bit of action there. I've not got a clue what's going on because I've not read it, but I just wanted to show you this art because it's nice discovering new artists who are exciting and who like a master at the craft at doing layouts and almost treating it like a camera, like here, like a camera shot looking down onto the interior of that house. There is going to be a volume 2 coming out, so I'm thinking about, I think it's either June or July, sometime around there. And I'm definitely going to be picking it up. I've glanced through the writing on here. The writing seems tight and easy to read as well. It's not overly verbose. You don't get lost in boxes of text. It's just like you can see here. Some more action here. So definitely looks like our main character, the Undertaker, has his fair share of scrapes, as you can see here. I can't beat a bit of a good old sound effects, crack, whack, and crack again. Nice bit of a horse chase there. So it does have that perfect. You can almost taste the dust of the old west, like there when you can see the horses galloping and going on here. It makes me want to get more European books. I want to get the Fantagraphics has now started doing. This is me digressing again. Have now started republishing the Hugo Pratt Library, the Colson Maltese series of adventures. So that could be my next purchase. And there's a few more European albums that I've seen that I want to get, and I will do like previews of them because I think it's always nice to try new stuff. You're never too old, never too set in your ways to try new comics and new genres. And again, it, very cinematic. From the prison to showing the outside of the interior. So it's not static. It's not just pages and pages of talking heads like unfortunately you get in a lot of comics nowadays. There's enough to keep you interested on each page, and each page is very different in its layout. And again, the use of lighter shade, the use of the bars reflecting onto the prison floor, and the colours. The colorists, I think sometimes colorists can be underappreciated, but when the like so talented like this, and one obviously is, it adds again so much to the story, even to how they've coloured in the sound effects to contrast with the background. It sounds silly, but it's only a small thing, but it does add to the energy of the story. And again, talking about energy, this whole 2-page spread here, so much going on. Even a roof fight on top there, lightning crackling down. And again, shifting tone there, so different colour palettes again. I love that top panel just there. Let's see. And that I like how they've done the rain, like the dripping on the hat there. And just here, you can tell it's torrential. Even though it doesn't look like rain, it gives you the impression of rain, which is a very, very clever thing to do. Because sometimes you can get lost in the details. You can just do like, I've done comic art myself, and you can just get lost in these loads and loads of lines showing that rain. Whereas that just showing like a sheet, like all these, like, it's almost like wash effect like that going down. It's much more effective. And I love how that framing just there, like the bridge, like everything about, I just adores the art on here. The problem with me at the moment, I've said this before, I go through moods, and at present, I am getting much more satisfaction from reading full collections like this, reading graphic novels or collected editions, than I am from reading just floppies at the moment. I've bought some floppies today, and I've still got floppies from last week, comics from last week that I've not finished reading. I don't know. I find it easier to dive into a thicker book than into into like a 24-page story, 22-page story. And obviously, I almost like fluctuate again to liking comics again. But at present, this is where I'm at in my headspace for reading comics. I love this. It's just here. So this Vulture is his buddy. But I am, like I said, veering more and more just to getting collected editions. So my comic buying is changing. It's evolving yet again. I still enjoy getting my Wednesday comics, but I just don't get as many as I used to because I'd rather wait and get the collected edition for some titles. But again, this is me just digressing. Let's stop blathering and look at the art. Again, just the illumination here. So you go from there to the outside to there. Wonderful. And this panel here is just wonderful. I adore that panel. It's just got the feel of an old spaghetti, a cool spaghetti western, or a, like the Clint Eastwood period, the like the Outlaw Josie Wells or something like that. Just prime 70s, late 60s, 70s westerns. And again, just the framing of the face are wonderful. And again, that contrast. There's something very enjoyable about an artist who can make landscape as interesting as people. For me, when I do art, I'm very much into drawing people and faces. I hate I'm not a big fan of doing backgrounds, even though I love to see it in art. I struggle with it. So when I see somebody who can do both like this with equal amounts of craftsmanship, it really is impressive. And again, like that top panel there, when you switch to another action scene, and that is a great like opening vista. And surprisingly, I thought that could be the final page, but it's not. So we move on to a different scene here. For some reason, this gives me the energy what you get from like an Asterix book, just like all these people rabble rousing. I've got a real soft spot for a good western, whether it's in films, books, or in this case comics. And it's nice to see that it's still popular in the comic format. But it's funny how it tends to be just Europe. You don't get many American westerns nowadays. I think the last one I read was the that distillery one by Brian Azzarello, but I just can't remember what they're called now. But Blood Brothers Mother or whatever, something like that. But again, just look at the beautiful contrasts here. It's got that nice fine balance of character interaction, but then balls to the wall action when you just turn the page as well. And again, that is just gorgeous. But I really hope this sells so it generates more interest in more westerns being produced in graphic novel format. And I think it's a great character design for the main character as well. Very distinctive. He's got the big Stetson as well, the high Stetson. That's an intriguing panel. Can't wait to find out what that's all about. And there's his lovely vulture again with his. I love how the vulture's got like a kerchief around its neck. And that's a wonderful finishing shot. You could just imagine like if this was a film, the titles would come streaming down on there. And there is a bit of back matter, not much, but some. So you got this wonderful double page spread, basically giving you an idea of the layout of the land and the character design. Some sketches of the main character, the Undertaker, painting of one of the female characters. Is that potential love interest? Who knows? Because I've not read it, and that's just wonderful. So very, very satisfied with that. Like I said, it's the Undertaker from Abrams. Um, I think it's very, very high quality. It's an oversized graphic novel. It's bigger than an American comic. Um, so it gets my hearty recommendation. And I will do a follow-up video after I've read it. Or what I might do, I might just wait until I get volume 2 and do both of them back to back as a review. But hope you enjoyed that, and maybe it's one that might perk your interest to try something that's not superheroes, that's not monsters, that's not science fiction, but just a good rip roaring adventure. Okay, bye.